All right, we have another interesting news here about XRP. XRP, and it says X Ripple Executive. Next phase is banks using XRP for settlement. Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the closed doors of a giant bank? I mean, besides the mahogany desk and those tiny pens they chain to the counter so you can't steal them? Well, today in this video, we just got a peek behind the curtain. A former Ripple executive just dropped a massive truth bomb about the next phase of XRP. If you have been holding XRP, you have probably heard people talk about institutional adoption for years. It's like the Bigfoot of the crypto world. Everyone talks about it, but nobody has a clear picture of it until now. Dilip Rao, a former Ripple executive, recently explained exactly how Ripple is playing the long game. And let me tell you, it's not a sprint, it's a masterclass in global strategy. In this video, we are breaking down why the connectivity phase is over and why the sentiment phase is about to change everything. This isn't just news, it's the blueprint for how XRP becomes the backbone of the world's money. So let's look at the first big question. Why start with the banks? Why not just make an app for everyone to use? Dilip Rao says it's all about connectivity. He said if you don't have connectivity, you can't even start. Think of it like this. Imagine you have invented a teleportation machine. It's amazing. You can go from New York to Tokyo in a second. But there's one problem. There are no teleportation pads at the airports. Your machine is useless if there's nowhere for it to land. Ripple's first goal was to build the landing pads inside the world's biggest banks. They spent years connecting banks to their network so they could talk to each other more efficiently using the systems they already have. They didn't walk in they didn't walk in and say, "Hey, throw away all your computers and use crypto." They said, "Keep your computers, but let us make them talk to each other 10 times faster." It's like trying to convince your grandma to use a smartphone. You don't take away her landline immediately. You just show her how to see pictures of her grandkids on the new screen first. Slowly, she realizes the old phone is basically a paperweight. Now, we get to the juicy part. Once the banks are online and connected, we enter the next phase, XRP as a settlement option. Currently, banks settle payments using fiat currency, such as USD, Euros, or Lira. But there's a massive hidden cost to this. If a bank in Germany wants to send money to Turkey, they usually have to hold a giant pile of Turkish lira in a vault somewhere. It's called a Nostro account. It's basically like having a separate wallet for every single store you visit. One for Starbucks, one for the grocery store, and one for the gas station. It's annoying, it's expensive, and it ties up billions of dollars in cash that just sits there doing nothing. Dilip Rao explained that the next phase gives banks a choice. Instead of the German bank holding Turkish lira, they can ask the recipient bank, Hey, can you accept XRP and then give the customer the Lura? This is the bridge. XRP moves across the ocean in 3 to 5 seconds. The bank doesn't need to hold a million lira anymore. They just buy a million lira worth of XRP, send it, and it's done. Instantly, no waiting 3 days for the slow motion banking system to catch up. You might be asking, if XRP is so good, why aren't they doing this already? Well, banks are like giant cruise ships. Giant cruise ships. They take a long time to return. They are terrified of risk. Dilip Rao stressed that Ripple's approach is gradual. First, the banks connect and improve their current processes using traditional money. They get used to the speed. They get used to the security. Once they are comfortable and they see that the teleportation pad works, they start using XRP to scale. It's like a training wheels program for the world's money. You don't ask someone to marry you on the first date. You start with coffee, then dinner, then maybe you show them your XRP wallet. Ripple is basically on the dinner phase with the world's banks right now. This phased strategy shows that Ripple isn't trying to break the banks. They are trying to become the bank's favorite tool. By the time the world realizes it, the entire financial system will already be running on XRP tracks. So, what does this mean for the evolution of the XRP ecosystem? It means that the token is moving from a speculative asset that people trade on their phones to a practical tool used by institutions. We've seen other news this week about Bitcoin dominance dropping and XRP price targets hitting double digits. But none of that matters as much as this. If the banks use XRP for settlement, the liquidity becomes massive. We aren't talking about retail investors buying 100 coins. We are talking about institutions moving trillions of dollars. As more banks join the network and realize they can save millions in fees by using XRP, the demand for that bridge grows. This is the ultimate goal Dilip Rao talked about. It's about making the global financial system scalable, efficient, and finally fast. So, is the next phase finally here? The ex Ripple executive says yes. The connectivity is built. The banks are onboarded. It's onboarded. Now the choice to use XRP is on the table. The era of waiting 5 days for a bank transfer is ending. The era of XRP as a global bridge is just beginning. But I want to hear from you. Do you think banks will flip the switch this year, or will they stay scared of the future? Drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update on the 2026 crypto revolution. This is your crypto buddy, and I'll see you in the next one.